you guys truly do go in with a positive expectation that things are going to just like crush.
I've had to like coach my mind to look at stuff in a positive way, even before you start anything.
Yeah, it's so important to understand your end result too. When you know where you're heading and you know what you're doing and you have confidence in the try, fail, learn, adjust, you're not focused on failing. Like it's just another day.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Your team will do 100% of everything you do wrong and 50% of what you do right.
What is the number one thing you attribute your success to? All right.
Let's get weird.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Kingdom Culture. This is a special episode. I've got all my friends in the room. Literally, I only have 4 total, and they all were paid to be here. So we're really excited. This is expensive, so we're just going to get right into it. But no, these guys, this is actually like a huge deal. I moved to Omaha, obviously, when was getting married, or moved to Omaha after I got married to Megan. And I didn't really have like guy friends. Like I didn't have a bunch of guy friends around here. I had a couple, but like, I went from like 2 or 3 to now like 7, which has been pretty rad. So we just, and we all run businesses, and we're all like 6 and 7 figure entrepreneurs, and we all love Jesus. And what's crazy about that is like, number one, how rare that is. Like that doesn't like that happen. And then for it to happen so fast, because I've been praying for this for like a long time. I've wanted to have like good guy friends that are running businesses that you can have like deep conversation with, and talk about Jesus, talk about business, because that's and then like relationships, and that's pretty much makes up the majority of what we talk about. So anyway, what I want to do is have you guys introduce yourselves. You guys know me. I'm Landon Rhodes. If this is your first time watching, because you see all these handsome gentlemen on the screen, I'm Landon Rhodes, co-host of Kingdom Culture. Start off with you, and then we'll go around. We'll clockwise action.
Cool. What do you want to know? Just my name? What are we
date
doing?
of birth, social security number.
Okay.
Give us everything.
92992. My name's Bryce Faber. Like Landon said, I run a couple companies. I run a moving company and a pressure washing company. Been born in Nebraska, moved around to Texas, and then came back to Omaha, and here's where I reside.
Yeah, love it.
My name's Jake Sheldon. Run a few businesses as well, mainly marketing. And I've been all over the nation pretty much. And now we're back in Omaha.
We're back,
boys.
baby. We're so back.
Boys.
Quite the traveler.
Yeah, quite the traveler.
Yes. My name is Jaron Den, and I also run a couple businesses in town. Just like my good friend Bryce, I'm in the moving industry as well, and do some other things within that customer clientele. I am from Norfolk, Nebraska, about 2 hours south of here, small town. Did a little college basketball, and then realized that didn't pay very well. So I had to figure something out along the lines. And then had the pleasure of meeting this stud and all these guys here along the way. So
yeah, buddy.
And iron sharpens iron. So it's been really nice for us to grow with one another. Here you go.
Heck yeah.
Cheers.
I'm Mason Litz, day trading and do some online stuff. So from O'Neill, Nebraska, small town.
Love it.
Ran into these guys through another business, so it's pretty cool.
Cheers.
So wait, what town are you from?
I'm from Hastings, Nebraska,
Bro,
originally.
what are the odds that? Hold on, highway, but like Highway 6,
Besides
Kearney,
Norfolk?
Hastings, Norfolk, and O'Neill.
Exeter.
And Exeter.
Dude, that is
Tiny.
wild. We are all from super small towns. I didn't actually realize that until now. Wild.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. What do you guys want to jam on today? What do you want to like get into? We can talk business. We can talk relationships. We literally just decided, guys, that we would just turn the cameras on.
Right.
Because I just know this crew. And like, once we get on something, like
We're gonna roll.
it's going to be,
We're all business owners.
yeah, we're all business owners.
So maybe start with business.
Start with something we know.
Then we usually kind of go from there.
Yeah. Let's do your first business ever, down to like concept, like your first concept of what you thought you would do. Oh, this is hilarious. Actually, now we need to do it because it's really funny.
We have 4 of the same ones.
I forgot. That is hilarious. Well, we gotta let it rip then, because we got to go ahead.
Okay. I got introduced to, so I'll start with my background. So I was going to school, going to college. I was there for a semester, had to drop out, do some financial aid, didn't get transferred over properly. So I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go back to college for physical therapy or try to figure out what I wanted to do. Got introduced to some guys that ran their own business. They do sales and marketing. So they did, honestly, it was kind of online sales before Amazon was really a thing. We're that old. So before Amazon was really a thing, we did online marketing, and, we got partnered up with some guys out of Omaha, which kind of where my story to Omaha even started. Cause I thought Omaha was too big, to be honest, to ever move to. Like there's too many people, too many roads. But no
system. There's way too many roads.
No pun intended. But yeah, it was online marketing. So we had access to exclusive companies, and we had access to big name brands, and we just pushed people to their online traffic.
Sweet. Love it.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to college too in Kearney, Nebraska. I was going to UNK, and I got hit up by a guy named Brady. And Brady actually wasn't the one who was going to show me the info. It was Bryce. That's how I met Bryce. Bryce showed me the info to that business. It was a multi-level marketing company. Mm-hmm. And like he said, we were selling online products. And so I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And Bryce actually yelled at me because I did some research, just a quick Google search. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I don't know about that. Sounds like a scam. He's like... And what did you say to me that day?
I said, if you want to make a decision based on a couple of things you Googled, that's fine. But I like to make educated decisions once I get information. So you can choose what you want to do.
Yeah. I was like,
I was running on like 2 to 3 hours worth of sleep. I'm not saying I recommend it, but
you recommended it. Yeah.
But we're best friends today. So
right. I was like, I think I said, I was like, wow. That's fair. Yeah. Go ahead and come down. So we met up, became friends like right away, started hanging out. And that's actually where I met these guys too. Right. So, I was doing that business for five years. It's really where like my entrepreneurial journey started and like how my mindset started like changing. Mm-hmm. I about dropped out of college too, which wouldn't have been a bad decision because I'm not using my degree at all.
Some of us did. Some of us did drop out. Some of us did drop out, or we didn't go. One of the two. But yeah, no. I guess a cool point to add on that we did all meet through that. Mm-hmm. We were actually a part of Bryce's team, which was super cool. So he was a mentor to us before we even really got our own businesses started, which was super cool. And the networking aspect of it was we were just connected through people who just opened their mouths. Which in business, as we all know, networking is like the biggest, like one of the best ways to like build your business, to network, meet people, grow. Yeah. And that was a really like big pivotal moment of our lives because one, we all met, and two, it opened a lot of more doors for us down the line with sales, which was super cool. Here's this for you.
Yeah. Same thing. We all met. We all met in an MLM, multi-level marketing.
Mason was a young guy.
I'm the youngest. Bryce said something about being old, but I don't know what that's encountering over here so far yet. But,
sorry. It's target for me.
But yeah, I met all these guys through that, and just we all reconnected later on through life, and we're all here now.
It is kind of crazy that we all split away at some facet to like start other companies, like
to go find yourself.
Yeah, we had to go find ourselves. But like even like Jake, I would say we've been best friends since you were 22? But there's probably 19. Like 19. Yeah. But there's like 2 or 3 years when you started the pest control company that like, you kind of went to KC. I was doing my own thing. We weren't like talking or hanging out as much, and like kind of split away, and then they all come back.
Yep.
So I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Is this like Voldemort? Are we not supposed to say the name of the company, or what's the deal?
I don't care.
I was like, why are we brushing around like the name of the company? It's like, was there something bad?
I think that was like what we did in the business.
So you guys are just like, this was programming that we just...
we were all just programmed not to say the actual name.
Yes, exactly.
That's so funny because I almost got sold that in a coffee shop this chick was trying to flirt to convert me. Megan. way long time.
It
ago.
works.
It does work.
Yeah, so I like thought she was like interested in me and wanted to get coffee, and then she tried pitching me an MLM, and I got to tell you guys, I was 100%
That's
unsold.
how I got. That's how I got
MLMs.
Jaren in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Flirt to convert.
flirted a little bit, but you're like you played hard to get, but you.
Play sports, like say no more.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I tackled him right away.
He did. That's so funny.
That was violent.
Our first, my longest memory of myself and Bryce is we're super competitive, and it's so cool because now we're in the same industry, so we're working hand in hand, but also like there's always a competitiveness between us. But the first time we met, he hit me with a hard tackle, and I'm like very competitive.
Flag football.
Like
Flag
flag football, my dad just completely levels me out. And me being who I am, I get up, I was like, nice hit, let's go. And we just got jacked up.
Flag football. I completely tackled him.
That was the start of our /business /competitiveness from day one. And I found out what type of man Bryce was in that moment of time after he put me in the ground.
Tackled me in
flag football.
That is so true though. Like, so I had an experience recently like that. I went to Men's Con with my city, which would be super fun. We should all go to. Went to that, and like some kid accidentally lit me up. Like, I mean, semi-accidental, you know, whatever. It gives flag football, right?
Yeah.
But like lit me up. Like I was in the air and got just dropped from the air. And I did the same thing. I like, okay, it's on. Like, you know, you brush yourself off. And I think that's when you know whether or not you're competitive. Like the first time that happens, if you're just like, like you're just about ready to light the other guy up. Yeah. And that's like a good allegory for business too, because, you know, it's literally just filled with getting punched in the face, rejection, and then
Every day.
having to get back up. But yeah, that's wild. So you guys all met in Amway, the company that shall not be named.
Yeah.
Voldemort.
You're gonna have to put some beeps in this video so nobody knows
It'll be
Is this a disclaimer? This is not an Amway.
What's great is that can be the beginning. I'll talk to the editors. That'll be the beginning of the episode. It'll be like, used to work at beep. They're gonna think it's like OnlyFans or something.
Instead of beep, we gotta go hum hum hum.
All right, so dude, I want to talk like business stories. So that was you guys' first business. Well, mine, for folks that don't know, way back when, first business. Actually, very few people know this. My very first business that I was going to get into was first social media, but the second one, actually, I take that back. The very first one was I was going to open up a distillery.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. Got like some guys around me that were wanting to open up a distillery, and I loved marketing and like branding and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, like most of what sells alcohol is marketing and branding and partnerships, distribution, all that stuff. And so, yeah. And then that ended up just like not being the direction I wanted to go. But that was like the point of where I created Grindstone, which is the first agency. And so did that since October of 2016. So it's like 2025 now. Yeah. 8-9 years. But yeah, it's that was the first one for me. It was wild.
Yeah.
Wild times. Yeah, it does. No doubt. What's been I want to know, let's bring it like more like recent. Has everyone said like what kind of businesses you have? Just like we can go around the horn like one more time. So moving company, pressure washing company.
Yeah, and we just started a vehicle wrap business.
Yeah, vehicle wrap business. So everybody, and you're kind of, Mason, you're starting to get into home service with different like AI and stuff. Yep. But basically like, yeah, you three are like deep into like home service. Super deep
home service. All three
you're
of us.
really, really good at it. And so pressure washing, moving, wrap company, you?
Well, quite a few. I mainly specialize in service-based businesses. I partner up with equity, helping them in systems, marketing, automation, mainly marketing side of things. So that's probably the overall thing that I do, because there's quite a few of them. But yeah, actually, I'm partnered with these two guys.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Working on it.
We're still building that relationship.
That's right.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
And then, I'm in the moving business as well. We have a snow removal business as well, and then a window cleaning business as well, which is service based. And you build a clientele in one business, and then turns out you can sell other services to them, which didn't know that in the beginning. Yeah. So it's been nice as we kind of figured that out as we go.
Love it.
Yep. And then I had a pool cleaning company down in Florida.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're home service too.
So I was in the home service a little bit, and then, but mainly just day trading right now. So
cool.
Getting into the website design and so that type of stuff.
We're gonna go back to the champagne gun story later.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to that. Just don't let us stop without going back to that. But I want to know, like, I'm really curious because why did you all end up in home service and how? Like, what? But more importantly, like, why did you go there and why did you stay there? And why is that like a good business?
Well, for me, I started in the advertising agency world, and I started realizing how much money I was making my clients.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. So I ended up partnering with a pest control company, and it ended up going very well. And he offered me equity in his company. And then from there, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this for myself. I'm making my clients millions of dollars. I should be making millions too.
Yeah.
So
here we are.
Yeah.
It's awesome. What about you?
Me.
How did you end up in home service?
When we were 20 years old, 10 years ago, when we were young whippersnappers, as we call it, myself and Bryce, I'll never forget this. Bryce got me a job. He got me a job working on a box truck, moving furniture. And we saw, an industry that was kind of untapped. And I noticed especially that there wasn't very high quality services being rendered. And so, was in the industry for a couple years and figured out what I would like to call a niche in the market. Riches are in the niches, as you later find out. And so I just kind of started my own business, and then eventually just day by day got better, started to get more jobs, figure out how to network, grow the company, scaling, all the things.
You called me before.
Called you. And
I want to hold on. I'm gonna cut you off. How did you become so good at networking? You are a savage networker.
Great question.
How did you do that?
I can't really take credit for it, to be honest. My father, Steve Den, who all of you have had the privilege of meeting, he was a business owner. My grandpa was a business owner. And my father taught me a lot of talking to people, gift of gab, growing up in a small town. I grew up in a sports bar. And so every day I would go to work with my dad and we would learn all of our clients' names. We'd service them. We'd help them out. We'd clean the whole sports bar. But you watch your father introduce himself to everybody.
Yeah.
Know everybody's single name, and you see the importance of that as a young man, and then realize that it's about building rapport. And people don't want to do business with people they don't like.
It's true.
Yeah.
And so I watched my dad be this just super likable guy. But the biggest thing he did, he cared. And people could feel that. And so to see that as a young age and then grow up in business to learn it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so that really helped me kind of develop my network in the beginning. I remember when I started the business, I was bartending and I would hand out business cards to all the successful people at the bar. And I would just say, hey, this is what I do in my part-time. On my other part-time job, I help people move. Here's a card. If you ever need help, give me a call. And soon enough, people started to call me. And then I'll never forget this guy. I was working at the bank at the time during the day. And I told him, I'm like, Jake, thinking about starting up this business. What do you think? He's like, dude, you can always go back to the bank. He's like, I believe you're too sharp to work for somebody else for the rest of your life. And I'll never forget that because it changed my life. And I think sometimes we just need someone to believe in us.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of power in belief and then doing the work.
Yeah.
And then I just beat my head up against the wall a couple times and eventually it just started to happen.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hit us with 3 tips for growing your network.
Saying hi to everybody you know.
Okay.
Putting a smile on somebody's faces can really just open doors.
Yeah.
Right? And then doing the work that nobody else does. So when you have a sale go through, one of the best ways to go, hey, do you know anybody else, whatever industry you're in, who needs help with this? Do you need this? Do you need that? And so enough of that and talking to people, wearing your own brand, being a walking billboard, if you will, that's huge. And I remember when I would be in the gym and I'd be talking to people, I'll never forget one of my best referral partners to this day. I'm pitching a guy on moving in this section of Lifetime and 2 stalls over, I hear a guy, hey, you do moving? I'm a realtor. And literally I walk over. Hi, my name is Jaron Den. His name is James Doblin. And we've been working together for 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
And that one connection has brought me well over $100,000 in revenue.
That's
just
awesome.
from opening my mouth one time. So I think that would be a lot of tips in one area. But
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's super good. Okay. What were we
I want to add
about?
something to that too.
Yeah, hit it.
Jaron is fantastic at compliments. He starts conversations through compliments. You'll be like, "Hey, bro, I like your hat." "Oh, dude, you're looking huge, bro." Like he's so he does it naturally, but
But he means it.
But he means it. He's so good. Like he's so good at it.
Yeah.
Like that's what I admire about him. He's like,
That's
"Oh,
crisp.
dude, you look great," or "Oh, your shirt's awesome," or "Your hat's great." Like, and boom, no, could have got a job out of that. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's never like, from what I've seen just being around you the short time I've known you, it's never like to get something. You actually mean it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's so huge though. I mean, if you
Yeah.
look at any connection, people, I feel like there's words that you say, but then there's the feeling you have behind those words.
Yeah.
And people can feel when you're not being genuine or you're like trying to get something out of them. If I'm trying to sell you something, they can kind of feel it like automatically. But if I'm just giving you a compliment and we're making a connection and we're just talking, people feel that too.
Yeah.
And I think Jaron and honestly Jake too, he does this really well. They do a really good job of making you feel like they truly care what your name was, what you do, why you do what you do. They ask questions about you and they like truly take the time to get to know you in that moment.
It's good.
And it diffuses every wall you put up. And you're talking like, I think when people talk about themselves, they talk about what they know, right? So there's very few things in the world that you know for a fact besides what you've experienced, right? So when you talk about yourself, you're talking about things that you know for sure, right? So when you ask questions about somebody, they talk about what they know for sure. So they feel the most confident with what they're talking about. And when you genuinely want to know what they're talking about, like it creates a genuine connection.
That's good.
That's good.
Clip it.
Yeah.
Clip it. What were we talking about right before that? We were talking about something right before that. Business experiences.
You said business. You said business experience and give us 3 tips on networking, correct?
Yeah, we got
Was
that.
that it?
Yeah, we got
Mason.
Oh, party gun.
Party gun. Boom.
Champagne
Let's hear
gun.
it. So this is one of the first stories that you told me. I don't know how we got connected to this day. Still not sure. You
Instagram
think you slid
DMs.
in my DMs, something.
I've done that
like
too.
way
That's
a long
how
time
all my
ago.
connections have started.
But
though,
like
back
you're
in the day.
Instagram
you're
be like that.
insanely connected though.
Yeah, he
You'll be
is.
like, yo,
He
do you
is
know
so
this?
connected.
Do you know this guy? And the guy's like super rich and famous and or like just the wildest connections that you made. And like you made them so young.
Like how many billionaires
Yeah,
do you know?
19, 20 years old was just networking.
Dude. Yeah. So
tell them what you told me about like how
Yeah,
what
so
you decided how you
I
wanted
went
do that.
to a community college for just a semester,
yeah.
and that's when I found Amway. And then when I got done with Amway,
We can't talk about it.
when I got done with Amway, I was like, okay, I didn't go to college. Like, I'm just gonna spend like my college years, like just networking, like trying new businesses, trying new things, trying new trends, see what can stick, and just try. And that's what I did. Is I tried drop shipping, I tried wholesale real estate, I tried trading crypto, meme coins, like just different things. And something, like something will just click eventually. And they all clicked, but like trading to me was like always the like end goal, not end goal, because I didn't really know about it. But once I figured it out, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I can be anywhere in the world, take a trade, same setup every single day and be good. So that's how it all started, is just networking. And I remember to this day, there was an event in Dallas, Ryan Stewman's event, and John Mlott was there. And I knew that Casey Adams was coming to Berkshire Hathaway event. So I DM Casey. I'm like, hey, if you need a ride from the airport to Patrick something, I don't remember his last name, I'll give you a ride. He's like, yeah, dude, that'd be sweet. Like, I'll give you the time of day to connect. And then literally he ends up staying the night. We go to the Berkshire Hathaway event. He introduces me to Ty Lopez, Charlie Rocket, Ty Lopez's right-hand man at the time. He was like a doctor or something like that. I don't remember his name, but yeah, just meeting people and just connecting through the DMs was like a big thing back
Was he the
then.
mentor box guy?
Yeah, mentor box.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Doctor something. I don't remember what his name was.
That's awesome. So you decided to get really like, you decided to like double down on like, I'm going to go to all these events.
Yeah, just went to, I think I went to like 7 or 8 events just in 1 year. And then COVID happened.
Nuts. Literally one almost every month. And I just think about like all the exposure you're getting at that point, like at 19 too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like what an awesome way to get plugged in to and figure out what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not
just like,
that expensive. Like the events themselves are like usually $500.
I mean, it's cheaper than college. Like I was paying like $200 per ticket, like just getting the lowest ticket just to like get to meet to people and just get to talk to them.
Isn't that what stops people? I mean, if you think about anybody that doesn't own a business, what stops people from starting a business? The fact that they're going to fail, right? The fear that it's not going to work. But I always heard that the most successful person in the room is the person that's failed the most. They've done the most things. They've tried, failed, learned, and adjusted, right? And figured out how to fail successfully, right? We've all failed at everything we've already done. If we just did it again and we tweak some stuff and change some stuff. So like, I think learning how to fail at 19 and continue to go and not like brush everything off is one of the most successful things you can do.
Totally. So it's so necessary if you actually want to build something great. Like you have to, like Jordan Peterson talks a lot about that of like, if you're going to max out and like truly try something, the best time to do it is in your 20s.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you have
Try all of it.
Yeah, try. Yeah, and just like, I love how he says he's like, if you want to find out what your limits are, like in terms of how hard can I work? How like much effort can I put into it? How hard can I push myself in the gym? All that stuff I think is so, you need to know your limits like as a man also. I just think that's
100%.
super important.
Couldn't agree more.
Bryce has crashed 3 cars
Bryce.
from not sleeping because he was working.
Just one.
That's hard, right?
He's crashed 4 cars from
4
I've never crashed a car while awake.
Wow.
You did change the tire while I was asleep.
Yeah, I did change a tire while Jaron was sleeping, but I've never crashed a car while awake, ever.
Dang.
Not one time.
Because he was going so hard at the time, like just
That is
going
wild.
all out, only sleeping like 2 hours a night. Like,
Bro.
it's nuts.
I learned my limits.
So,
Yeah, you learn your limits.
yeah.
This is a good question that kind of came up too. So what is the number one thing you attribute your success to? Like what if you could like put it to one thing of like, when I look back, that one thing made me who I am today. And like, we're all believers. So we're going to like absolutely like the Lord is
right.
Yeah. Like now that you guys are like, that's a big focus of all of our lives. Like, I think we all have that in common and we're all probably going to give that example.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that one down so that you can give, as number one, so you can give your next one.
Yeah. I think mentorship for me, like I was 19. I just dropped out of college. I had no idea even how to spell business. There was just way too many
Business.
way too many S's, man. I had no, honestly, without autocorrect, I still don't know if I know how to spell business. But I got partnered up with people that have been there and done that. They gave me, before podcasts were a thing, they gave me some audios and CDs to listen to.
What was some of the audios? I got to know.
Well, a lot of them were like Amway-oriented audios, but they were like very successful people talking about business mindset. So like things I heard early on is if you always think the way you've always thought, you'll always get what you've always got.
We like that.
So if you don't change the way if you don't change the way you think, if what you have right now is a product of the way you think.
Yep.
Right?
Amen.
It's not because of, now people come from different backgrounds and starting points, right? But at the end of the day, all the information on the internet is out there to change the way you think about certain situations so you can now have what you want to have.
Right.
People have, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, to tidbit off that, great. Change is the prerequisite to success.
Yeah.
So obviously, if people were successful, they would be successful. So what do you got to change to get there? Because the road worth getting is not easy, to say the least. And I think we know that all as like the trials and errors we've had with our business, especially over the years. It's something different every day. And I think a tidbit to that is you just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
You know, life is going to throw something at you every single day, whether somebody's sick, upset client, this and that. And it's how you handle the adversity and continue to work forward. Just like in sports, you know, you roll an ankle, you twist the knee. Do you keep going, or do you ice it, or do you just suck it up and tough it up and keep going? And I think that's after what you said, like that's what the people who are winners do.
It's it's so important to understand your end result too. Like I always talked about it like
Bryce,
this.
you only get one. You can't give all of them. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go off.
I love this stuff. But like if you think about I hurdled in high school, okay? And when you hurdle, it's all about technique, but you don't focus on the hurdle, because when you focus on the hurdle becomes big, and then everybody psychs themselves out and doesn't jump it. Your focus is 1, 2, 3, boom, 1, 2, 3, boom. And the finish line is really what you're focusing on. Everything else is technique. The more you focus on the hurdle, the bigger the hurdle becomes, right? Just like Jaren's talking about, you make a mountain out of a molehill, you'll never get past it, but all you have to do is walk around it and not treat it like it's a big deal. Right. And I think as you get older and you go through more business stuff, like things happen every day. It's, do you sit there and throw a fit about it, or do you just scoop it off the plate and continue to go on, you know? And I think understanding your end result, understanding that things are going to happen, understanding that it's going to happen daily, like, and it always comes in, I think we were talking about this the other day, it always comes in 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s. Like you'll have like 2 good weeks and you're like, dude, everything is screaming, life is good. And then the very next week, everybody's running around on fire. And like, you have no idea what's going to happen next, but it always comes in 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s, and it always happens right away. But like, when you know where you're heading and you know what you're doing and you have confidence in the try, fail, learn, adjust, you're not focused on failing. Like, it's just another day.
You're not focused on failing. That's super good. Like in NASCAR, they talk about like if you look at the wall when you're about to crash into the wall, like you will literally crash into the wall.
Right.
So you have to look where you're going. Like you have to literally adjust your gaze, and then naturally your body will like align with where you're supposed to be going. Yeah. That's good, man. At those multiple bombs, let's go one, or if you need to outdo Bryce with multiple bombs.
Sorry guys.
No, that's good. That's good.
Like you said, the Lord, I feel like we kind of joke about this, but I feel like I have had a lot of favor in my life. So like, I feel like nothing that I've done didn't have favor involved into it. But one thing I would say is I'm just a doer. I would say that's one of my best qualities. I just do. Like if we're thinking about an idea, I just do it. And I think that's why I've had favor and why the Lord has blessed me. It's just do. Don't overthink it. Just do it. And we'll figure it out later type of thing.
Yeah.
And what these two guys were saying is bad things will happen in business, no matter what. Like one of my mentors, Bryce was saying, having mentors in your life, he said, anything that will go wrong or anything that can go wrong in business, it probably will go wrong.
Murphy's Law.
So it's how you adjust to it and how you react to those things that go wrong is what makes the business owner and what makes you successful.
That's good.
And so I've just like taken that, anything that goes wrong, I like kind of expect it and it's okay. Like, it's going to be all right. Like you have to take that in.
Okay. I have a question on that. All right. So how do you juxtapose quote unquote expecting it while also having a very positive outlook and high expectation that things are going to go well? Like, cause you're very good about that. Like you very quickly scope out from a bad situation and like, oh yeah, well, like it's going to be fine. So how do you like balance that?
Yeah, it's really good. I've had to like coach my mind to look at stuff in a positive way, even before you start anything. So like when I go into a new business, I'm already expecting it to have massive, massive favor and for us to get massive amounts of leads and massive amounts of sales coming through quickly. I've accepted that it's going to happen regardless. Like, and it's like you hate the word manifesting, but like you start making things happen when you're focusing on that, right? Like we were talking about before, like when you're focusing on what you want to happen in the business, your brain automatically is looking for those things. Like Jaren's good at it. When he goes to a gym, he's like, oh, I'll probably get I'll probably meet someone today and get a client. Well, now his brain, what is it, RES or
RAS, reticular activating system.
Yeah, your RAS is already looking for those. So like his brain's already looking for those kind of people.
Right.
And I feel like I did the same thing with business too. It's like I've already decided that it's going to happen, and so now my RAS is already looking for those things.
To add to that, power of the spoken word.
Yeah.
What are you speaking over your life and your business? Are you speaking positivity? Are you speaking, hey, we're going to get this sale. Hey, I'm going to meet this client. Hey, I'm going to close this deal. How do you walk into your meetings? What energy, what personality do you bring? Not just to like new business, but what do you bring to your team at work?
Yeah.
Are you in a positive attitude? Because if you're not in a positive attitude, how do you expect your team to be in a positive attitude?
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things when it comes to building teams and businesses is like your team. I think it was Bryce who taught me this. He said, correct me if I'm wrong here, your team will do 100% of everything you do wrong and 50% of what you do right.
Yeah.
Will you say it better?
Yeah, I mean,
a little bit better.
no, that's 100% right. They'll do 50% of everything you do wrong, and 100% of what you do
opposite.
Yeah, right.
Opposite.
Sorry. 50% of what you do right, and 100% of what you do wrong.
Right.
Because it's wrong to begin with.
Clip that, reverse it.
Clip it, reverse, edit it, make it work.
I always heard it. Your hunger for what you feed yourself, what you hunger for, or you're hungry for what you feed yourself. So, like, if you're constantly feeding yourself positive, you're going to constantly think about positive, and you're going to manifest. It's almost overhyped and overused now,
right?
But you'll constantly want to continue to see and eat positive.
One of the things too that you do really well is, I guess everybody here, not just Mason, but all of us, is none of us have ever had a victim mentality. Like we've always been like positive, like, because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save you. We have what we have today because of what we've done, but we've always moved forward and never had that victim mentality.
It's good.
Tell a little bit about how you stay so positive, because every time I come around you, you are just a burst of energy, positivity. Like, speak about that a little bit, because I just think that's so amazing.
Yeah, I think it's just not having a victim mentality and just like be on the lookout for things that's like, just be not like a yes person, but if somebody's offering to give you an opportunity, like you did with the gym the other day to box, I was like, yeah, I'll show up. I'll pull up right now.
Right.
And Jaron's like, all right, I've never had anybody do this with me, but like, I'm down to teach you. So I think it's just like, I don't know, just try new things. Like the life's about experience. And I think you just have to be on the lookout for new experiences every single day, week, month. It's good. Just to really experience the true life. Like what God puts in your life is like you should just take full advantage of it. Yeah. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like it's not the end of the world. Just you got another day to continue what you're doing.
Yeah. What's your number one thing that you would attribute your success to?
Ooh, I'd say just moving fast.
Moving fast.
Not thinking about things too hard. Just like kind of like Jake said, like just go. Like just be a doer.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can wake up and moan and groan about stuff, but that's not going to get anything done.
Yeah.
So just moving fast.
This dude has a positive outlook on life, I'm telling you.
For sure.
He wakes up and he's pumped. Dude.
In day trading, you have to.
Yeah.
Especially when you get like a bad trade goes like the opposite of how you were expecting it to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm probably in one of the most like mood swings industry that people can be in.
Oh, yeah.
There's good days and then there's like bad weeks. Like you can have a really good day that sets you up for the whole week, but then like one bad day can wipe out all that profit. So it's just like, what does God want me to learn from this? How am I going to take it? Am I going to take it bad and be upset the next day? Or I can be upset at myself for 5-10 minutes and then back to reality.
That's good.
So,
man, I needed this today. This is excellent. I feel definitely like having you guys around has made me more like positive, which has been awesome. I love that. Megan also appreciates that. It's been very eye-opening of just like, you guys truly do go in with a positive expectation that things are going to just like crush. Things are just going to go really well. And I want to say like in the last probably like 6 months, I don't think I've been that way, like as much that way. But like, even just like talking about it right now, I'm just like, okay. Have you guys heard the story? This is a wild story. Have you guys heard the story about the person who, with like the frostbite and the meat locker. You guys know what you know what I'm talking about?
100%.
Have you guys heard the story?
I have not.
Yeah, the story is so good.
I've said this
So,
story like 6 times.
This
I love it.
this is from the book I think it's from the book Power of Expectation. And there's another one that's even wilder too about a lady going blind, which is nuts. But anyway, this so this guy's a technician, and he's working, or I think did he work at the meat locker?
He was working on it.
Working on it. He's a technician. He's working on the meat locker. He walks in, door shuts behind him. He is the only one in the facility. Like they were shutting down for the night, for the weekend. Door just locked behind him, no way out. And so he begins to go into a negative, literal death spiral of like, I know how cold this is. I know how fast this freezes meat. I know how fast the human body, or how long it takes to freeze the human body. I'm going to go into hypothermia, and like starts speaking all this stuff and thinking all this stuff, and goes into deep thought about like he's gonna die,
right?
And just thinks himself into that state. So 72 hours pass. Door opens. They find him dead on the ground with symptoms of frostbite and hypothermia. But get this, it was 59 degrees in there.
Freezer was unplugged.
That's nuts.
Wow.
I don't know the exact temperature, but it was unplugged, and it was coming down. So he would have been like a little bit hungry, maybe thirsty, but he literally worried himself into death and then manifested the actual symptoms of the thing he was fearing most.
That's crazy.
You open up a big can of worms with words.
Yeah.
Words are powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but like that expectation, I am reminded, like this is crazy. And I'm trying to discern if this is the Holy Spirit talking to me when this happens, or if this is just like my negative, like a negative mindset that I'm fighting off. But like I had an example today. Like I was supposed to podcast the guy, and like I was driving to the gym. I'm like, I'm probably not going to do the podcast. And so I'm trying to determine like, okay, did I just discern that? And that actually, that was whether I was having a positive expectation or not. That was kind of out of my control. Well, it turns out they did email me and they're like, hey, so sorry, this is not going to work today. But I had that thought this morning when I went to the gym. And then like I got to my desk at like half an hour before the podcast started. Boom, email comes in. I'm just like, what? So that's kind of like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we could talk for hours on words, man.
Deep one. Yeah. So I love that. Any other thoughts on? Did I ask you?
You didn't answer.
You didn't.
So number one thing that I would attribute to my success to after relationship with Jesus would be, I was honestly just like so like intently listening. I wasn't really thinking of mine. I would say like probably how I was raised, because
Why?
just like I grew up on a farm, and like when you have work ethic modeled for you,
Right.
and it is unfailing in terms of like how it's like it was the same every single time, and the fact that like we do not quit until the job is done. And that was modeled for me just over. And I mean, it was like programmed. Like I have never, to this day, I've never seen my parents or grandparents like give up at something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they just do it, and until it is done. I've watched my dad overcome 2 mitral valve prolapse surgeries, and like didn't, like you would never know. He was in his planter, and this is I think where like I got the idea to like keep working during chemo, because I was watching this behavior when I was younger, and like I watched him like, so he has chest ripped open for open heart surgery, and I watched him like basically get support, because you can't like, well, like if you have your sternum ripped open, you can't grip something and pull yourself up like into the tractor, right? But he like had someone help him up into the tractor after he is done with surgery. And then he had his little heart pillow, because when he sneezed or coughed, you have to hold on to this heart pillow so that you don't bust out the stitches and like the stuff that holds your sternum together. After open heart surgery.
Wow.
So he was like carrying his little heart pillow into the planter and having somebody like push him up. I'm just like,
unbelievable.
But what's crazy is that was like normal.
Yeah.
Wow.
No one told me that wasn't
Normal.
what you're supposed to do. Same thing with a grandpa that, had a stent put in. Like a week later, he's like in a tractor. And so, I think that it was a lot of just like environment of we do not give up. Like no matter what we're doing, like do it all the way.
Yeah, so good. Such a blessing too when you really think about it.
Yeah.
My dad and grandpa were very similar.
I've met your dad. Your dad is very similar.
Such a hard worker.
Servant, man.
Such a, like you said, servant. But there's working hard and then there's working smart. And when you figure out how to do both, that's where you become very dangerous.
For sure.
And so, I think we're just very blessed. And sometimes we do forget about that. I know I do. But
Any other things to wrap up on success principles? Otherwise, I'm going to get into next cue.
I was going to add, if I may, I think one of the biggest things, because like when you start your business for the first time, we kind of all don't know what we're doing, right? But I think one of the biggest things that starts to really get something to gauge towards is writing out your goals. So like I remember I've been 6 years in my industry now. It was in like my second or third year when I started to write out my goals, when I really started to cash that vision of what to go towards. And what this looked like for me was, how many jobs per month do I want? How many jobs per week? What does this money look like that I bring in? How many people do I need to service these clients? And then most importantly, what I did to kind of trick my mind is I would write myself a check for the amount of money that I wanted to make. And now what I do is I do this at the beginning of every single year. And I recommend this to anybody else. To get your team, get your spouse, get your partner, and hey, babe, let's write out our goals. Let's get together. Let's get in unity. Because when people get in unity, angels take flight. And so we did that 2-3 years ago. And every check I wrote myself, by the grace of God, it was then hand delivered to me. And so opportunities that is a whole nother.
These are
not
not small checks. I've seen the amounts. I've seen the numbers, and I'm just like, what?
And and I always tell people like, shoot high on your goals, because until you really reach for something that you think is unattainable, you're not going to get there unless you put the vision there. And you want to be in high ticket sales, in my opinion. You can do whatever you want. But when you find that vehicle, whatever industry is it, if it's day trading, if it's home service, if it's marketing, you own 10 businesses. But that being said, high ticket sales and then providing quality service. And then just write your goals down, man.
I feel like adding this, you don't have to own a business for any of these to be applicable.
Ooh, so good.
True.
You could be in sales, you could be at a job behind a desk, you could be an accountant. Like everything we're talking about is success principles in life. And it applies to, Jaron just doesn't go home and have goals for his company and then not have goals for everything else he does. Everything comes down to the way we live. And you can't just hang your keys up when you're done at work and be a different person and go home. Like it doesn't work like that. I can't give you my genuine self at work and then like just completely, or vice versa. You can't be, a grouch at work and then come home and be a completely different person. It all cohesively works, no matter if you're running your business or if you're running, if you're rocking a 9 to 5.
Yeah, I would say you definitely have to have some control of your income though. Like you have to have upward mobility no matter what. If you're at a fixed income in your job, like that's where you're at, like, and like you can hope that like, hey, maybe I can get a 10, 20% raise, but like a lot of times it's going to be the cap. And so this spins into my next question actually, which is, if you could go, I'll ask it another way. This spins into my next question, which is, what do people need to know, specifically young men in their 20s? What do they need to know? If we could go back, speak to young Jaron, young Landon, like what would we tell that young man? And like because there's going to be people that they're watching this, maybe they're in their 30s, but they have friends that they're going to send this to. And I just believe that the Lord's just going to blow this up and there's going to be a lot of people that find it. So what do people need to know in their 20s? Let's start with somebody that's in their 20s.
Let's go. Better,
Man, something to know in your 20s. I would say just try everything. Like it's not like you have to just go to school and become, go into marketing or go into a business school. Like it's all on YouTube. Like if you take the time to put into school, just take the time to put it into YouTube or buy a course or go get a job. It's like barely making the bills work, but you can spend a little bit extra on courses or something, like, or just find somebody that wants to mentor you and just, you know, say, hey, I don't have any money right now, but, you know, when I get there, like, I'd love to pay you then or something. Like, there's always ways around it. You just got to be willing to go find it.
Yeah. Successful people want to mentor too.
Oh yeah.
They want to actually pour in other people. It's like it's a part of it. It's the natural cycle. It's not even, it's kind of like wired into good, successful people. I don't know about bad.
But this is what a lot of entrepreneurs will say. They'll say, yeah, I'll mentor you. And then that person won't do anything with that information.
Yeah.
Like they'll say, okay, yeah, I'll DM you on Instagram or I'll text you at some point. And they never hear from that person again. I get it all the time in trading. Like, they're like, oh, can you teach me how to trade? Yeah, I can teach you how to trade. Here, just DM me or shoot me a text. And don't hear a word.
Yeah.
It's like you wanted the mentor, but you're not willing to put in the work. Like you think that you can just go fishing and grab a fish with your hand. Like, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. 100%. You got to reach out, throw that line in the water.
That's good. Advice for our 20s.
Advice for my 20s. I would say one of the biggest things that people don't know as young men, dress to impress. If you can't afford good clothes, there's places to go. First impressions are one of the most important things in business, but most importantly, when you're starting your career, whether you're an intrapreneur or an entrepreneur, dress to impress. Look sharp. Do your hair, shave your beard, look good.
It's good.
It's important because you're a direct image of what you are and what people see and take in. So I've always made it a more of a disciplined thing for myself, not to dress to impress, but to be in shape.
Yeah.
People trust people who are in shape because they know the discipline it takes to be in shape.
Can't fake it, bro.
Don't be obese.
You can't fake it.
Clip it. Sorry.
You can't fake being in shape.
And it's one of the things we all can control. We can all control what we can put in our mouth. We can all control what we eat. As I'm drinking an energy drink, I know, sorry. But that being said, just work out and the discipline it builds for business. If I'm going to go work out for an hour and a half and then jump in a cold plunge, I can do that extra invoice.
It's true.
I can make that extra call.
Dude.
I can go do all this extra stuff that I'm putting off so then I can get myself to the next level.
Good. Really
So
good.
those would be the two things: dress to impress and get in shape. It helps with your discipline.
Love.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's so good. I was going to say something very similar to that. So get in shape for all the reasons you said. It's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And actually for young men, I know, at least for me guys, but I struggled with the P word for a long time.
Yeah.
Stop that now. Like
Absolutely.
immediately. It will destroy so many.
Unbelievable.
That's
Bro.
money.
Unbelievable.
That's money calling. That's what that is.
We were having a moment.
I know, sorry.
This was a moment
Energy drink,
and it's
bro.
ruined.
Energy
I'm just
drink.
kidding.
Energy
P
drink,
word.
bro.
So
I'm just kidding, bro.
quit the P word. That will really destroy a lot of things in your life.
Right.
Relationships. It screws up your focus during work. Screws up the way you view women. Screws up everything. And it's the enemy's like first thing he goes after with men. And people don't talk about it enough. But when I stopped doing that, it was like my mind just like cleared up.
Yeah.
And I could like see the world for like how God created it. And it was just like a veil of darkness over you when you're in that. And so many guys hold it like shamefully and it will destroy you. And so it's like not a key to being successful, but it's so much easier to like win if you just stop doing that. Because for a lot of people, it's very, very hard for you. Some of you actually watching this, you might feel like it's impossible to stop.
It's not.
But it's not. And if you can conquer that in your life, you feel like you're unstoppable.
Valid.
And
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
So good.
for young men in their 20s, like if you're struggling with that, just do whatever you can to stop it, because your life is going to feel like it's on easy mode after.
100%. And like, I think that the important thing to take from this is like, look who the advice is coming from. You know, like we're not your mom. We're not like a cousin. Right. We're not some, like we're like, if you aspire to have a 6-7 figure business, to have peace, to have an amazing relationship with the Lord, like have an amazing, like I'm married to an amazing wife. Like you have to not like you can't do that.
Can't do it.
You have to cut it. And the dopamine thing is real too.
The science, not only the science, but the religion behind it. Like spiritually, it affects you, but also like scientifically in your body, it affects you mentally and spiritually.
Right.
You're triggering a dopamine response that is completely like, it just jacks everything up. Focus is a huge piece of it. And then it also like, and then like, we're not even getting it. We didn't even hit the spiritual implications of all of it, which is like far greater than any of your productivity issues. But you know what I mean? Like keeping the main thing, It's like, but also like it can help people to stop if you highlight some of the additional benefits, which are like, you're going to be you're going to be sharper. You're going to have a clear head, clear conscience, which is a huge thing because if you're going into the dating and, relationship world, you want to come in with a clear head, right? Like you want to come in better. And so, that's a huge one that I don't think any of us necessarily would have like mentioned. So that's really good.
Good job, Jake.
Any other ones that you would drop?
I mean, those are the biggest ones that I can think of right off the top of my head. And then, just networking. Just network as much as you possibly can while you're young.
You've always been somebody who outworks everybody. Chat on that a little bit because that's very important when it comes to business. You've always outworked everybody in what you've done. So kind of talk about how that is important.
I would say just like we're talking about before, just like having that mentality of just go, like speed, because someone else out there is doing it. And if like I'm a competitive person like all of us, right? And I am trying to beat the other guy. And if I'm not working, like actually a lot of you have lived with me, like I feel guilty if I'm not like doing something. Like I have like a guilty conscience. So that's good. I think there's balance, right? But at the same time, I've hardwired that in my brain so much that it's hard for me to like stop at this point, like working.
You also love what you do though.
I just love it. Just love it. So
it's not like anybody's holding a gun up to your head and being like, start working, stop. Like you love this stuff.
You actually have to hold the gun up to his head to get him to do anything else.
You know what's interesting though? I was having this conversation with my mom because she was like, no, Jake, you have to have balance. And I was like, okay, that's fair, Mom. Like maybe I do have an unhealthy like drive towards work. However, number one, I love it. And what are most people doing with their time? And I was like, Mom, like, what are they doing, Mom? And by the way, I love my mom, not talking bad about her. And she's like, well, I'm not sure. I was like, well, most people are watching Netflix. They're, just hanging on their phone, scrolling through TikTok, just kind of wasting their time. Right. I'm like, that's what most people do I'm like, is that what I should be doing? She's like, I would rather work and be productive than scroll on Netflix, on TikTok or watch Netflix or do that stuff. Yeah. I was like, is that bad of me? Right. She's like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Yeah. So I'd rather just work instead of do that stuff. And I watch movies and TikTok and stuff, but like, I'm not on it for hours and hours and hours a day. Right. I'm like, how can I move forward? How can I keep moving forward?
It's good. Yeah. Really good. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'll add to that and I'll go into mine. I love when you turn your phone onto low power mode, it tells you how many minutes and hours you've been on each app and your screen time you've been on those apps. So if you don't think you have enough time, I challenge you to throw your phone on low power mode and take just the time that you've been scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and apply it to something.
That's good.
Because when and we were talking, you segued away from it. I'm going to bring it back real quick. When you're talking about, you said, don't have a cap. I think you just need to continue to have doors that God can bless you in. Right? So if you have a 9-to-5 that doesn't have any type of like potential, like you got to continue to give God an opportunity to bless you through multiple doors. Yeah. If you cap what God can do because of you only have one doorway, you're not going to get your full blessing.
It's good.
The one thing I would say that's different than all these guys, I've had a little different path. My initial partnerships that I've had with a lot of the first company, I've had like 3 different or 4 different startups that kind of like fizzled out, and I've had to sell and like restart. And I didn't have enough confidence in my ability to run a company by myself. And confidence has never been my issue, but the things I didn't know about a business stopped me from really pursuing it by myself. And I partnered with people because I wanted to make it work, but I didn't partner with the right people. I think what has helped my companies take off like they have is all the partners or all the owners that are affiliated with it are, and I talk to Jake about this all the time. Anytime I partner with anybody, I want them to be centered on God. And I'll segue from here, but like if you don't center yourself on God, who do you center yourself with?
Right.
And what is right and what is wrong in your life?
Right.
Because if a customer comes to us with a complaint and we don't agree on how to handle it, but if you center yourself with God, we can always go back to how we think God would handle it.
That's good.
Right? And then we can always figure out the right way to handle it, even if the right way doesn't mean monetarily you're going to make the most money in that transaction. So a lot of times you're giving up to somebody, complaining about something because it's just the right thing to do. And I partnered with a lot of people that didn't have the right center line, right?
That's good.
And we couldn't get to a medium, and I had to give up partnerships because honestly, it was a lack of confidence in my ability to run a company by myself.
Wow.
And sometimes those people are holding you back as well.
100%.
God can't bless you if other people are in the way sometimes.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Especially if they're not walking with them. You taught me to be equally yoked. And that's quite the term, but I didn't know what it was until you guys told me.
What did you think it was before?
Jacked, bro.
I'm yoked, bro. I just had to hear somebody say
It's tough to get a case of scoliosis. But I did think I think it was eggs, eggs.
Oh my gosh.
So
He's like, I gotta get chickens to be successful.
We were just talking about that.
We were, yeah.
Right.
How much that matters of like making sure that if you're going to go into business with people that they are like equally yoked in that way, meaning like God's the center. I love that, like God being the center line of like, what do we come back to when we veer off this path? Like, okay, what's true north look like?
Right.
That's really good. Man, yeah. The thing that I would say from my 20s, did you hit yours? Was that like an add-on?
Probably a little bit of both, but I hit it.
Okay, cool. I just want to leave you out, Bryce.
I think I've talked plenty.
So thing I would say in terms of like what I would tell myself before if I was in my 20s again would be keep the small promises you make to yourself to build your confidence. Like you'll become more self-confident the more small promises you keep to yourself.
Right.
So like when you say that you're going to be there at this time, be there exactly at that time or early. If you're, if you're say like, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym, wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the gym. Because every time that you tell yourself that you want to do something and then you don't do it, you're breaking that agreement internally. And it's like so small. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I'll go to the gym at like 7. It's like, but you said 6. And especially if you have like your God time, which that would be another huge thing I would tell myself in my 20s, my younger 20s is like prioritize God and stop being a heathen, just in general. But like that would have helped a lot of things in general. But that's true. Like get plugged into a great church. That matters a lot. Like who you surround yourself with clearly matters. We're, really blessed to like have this crew, and we have even friends outside of this too that are amazing. And so who you spend your time with will really matter also. So that'd be like my second and third thing is like go to church, plug in, and actually like meet really great people there and because you will become the average of the 5 people you hang out with.
Amen.
And like people like say that and then like just kind of like haphazardly like, oh yeah, I know. It's like, but like you don't know because it's so real.
Right.
And it's like a little bit eerie because you go around a certain group of people and you see from the outside in how similar they are. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's the law. Like there it is. That's the like the vortex that's like all keeping them right in that. So keep the small promises you make yourself, plug into a church, and find really good friends so that you can have people to have people to call on.
So good.
Yeah.
Do what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah, if you're not
I
getting
love
challenged, like if like I have conversations with all you guys all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, yeah, I just did this and made this. I'm like, oh, gosh, okay, I gotta work so much harder now. Because like if you're not getting challenged,
Right.
like if you're the top of who you hang out the most
You're the
with,
cat.
you're never gonna get stretched.
Right.
Yeah,
And if you're
that's
never
good.
getting stretched,
So
you're
good.
never gonna work, or you're never gonna see different angles, right? I thought $100,000 was so much money growing up. My parents collectively made $60K.
Yeah.
Collectively growing up, 4 boys. We lived in
It's pretty good for Hastings.
lived a 3-bedroom trailer house with a basement, right?
Yeah.
I remember times growing up where like my mom was eating significantly less, and we're like, "You're not hungry," and we didn't realize it, but we didn't have the food,
Right.
You know. So like I thought $100,000 was so much money, and then you get around people that make $100,000, and then you start to see the way they think about things, and see the way they take opportunities and like stretch those opportunities to turn them into more opportunities, and like it eventually becomes second nature. Like you don't know how not to make 100, but I don't know how to make $1 million. But like then you start to get around people that like teach you how to make money and like teach you how to make your money make you money, and like you start to get around people that stretch you and change the way you think about that, and you're like, okay, this all makes sense now. But like if you're the top of the food chain, you're never gonna get stretched.
They'll literally say like, I don't know how you live on that. And you know, like, and because that applies every ladder or every rung you go down that ladder is like, once you kind of achieve that level and you're like, all right, like this is my new standard, it's really difficult to think about going back.
100%.
Like I lived right after I quit my job, I lived in a cockroach infested apartment. Like that was terrible.
Right.
I literally cannot imagine going back to that spot. I was so hopeless, helpless, and like in a really like terrible spot. And that motivated me so much. It's almost like I created the situation so that I could just like skyrocket out of it.
Right.
And then a lot of it was like who I started spending time with. I got around like a guy, dude, one of my first mentors was a guy named Tony Goins. Freaking love this dude. So he was he was in the military. And then as soon as he got out of the military, he became a front desk security guard at American Express. So like big bank, I don't know what city, I'm guessing like New York, but huge bank, like a main location, giant skyscraper. And so he would shine his shoes every single morning, perfectly like iron slacks, everything. And he would be militant checking people's IDs.
Right.
Every single day. And eventually one of the analysts took notice. He's like, you are like the sharpest dude I have ever seen. Like, I gotta get you, like, you shouldn't be doing this. I want you to come work on my team.
Right.
He literally went from a security guard to a like senior analyst and then eventually a VP position at American Express. And then ultimately would become the COO of Cabela's.
Wow.
Like after like several different like jumps,
cow.
USAA, Cabela's, all that. And I remember like getting around him for the first time and watching him speak. Actually, one of the things when I was in my cockroach infested apartment, he called me in the middle of like, it was like 11:30 at night. He's like, Landon, I've got this event tomorrow morning and I don't have a videographer. Can you come do it? And I was like, I'm there. I don't even know what the amount is. Like, I'll be there.
I don't even know where it's at.
This is when I was in the apartment. And so I show up and I watch him speak and I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta be around this guy like all the time.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much like that moment. It was like kind of the bottom of the check mark of like lowest point ever financially and a lot of other ways too. But
it's amazing how God puts people in our lives just like that, isn't it?
100%.
We can all probably look back at a point in time in our life where somebody like stood up so we could grow up with them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like,
and now that we're all like around each other, growing, iron sharpens iron. You have great days, you have great days, you have great days, you have great days. Like all of us can motivate each other, and it's our inner circle that helps us grow.
Yeah,
like you said, the 5 most people. Make sure the people you're hanging around are positive and they're not negative on your success. That's one of the biggest ways to tell if somebody's for you or not for you. Do they get jealous when you're successful? And you got to be careful who you talk with certain things about as you get into things.
Yeah.
But that's, you guys taught me that because I dealt with some people who were really for my success. And the old saying is, crabs in a bucket, misery loves company. So as soon as you start to break out of the rat race, if you will.
Yeah.
They're trying to pull you right back down.
100%. Yeah, because you changing makes them conscious of the fact that they didn't.
They have to.
And that they're going to need to if they want to get to where you, but a lot of times they're just like, well, they're in their perspective, like, well, you changed, bro. It's like, I would freaking hope so. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Like if we haven't changed, we got some serious, if we're not looking back at like the silly business moves we were making 10 years from now, like, well, what were we doing? You know, like are we still at the same spot? That's another thing that keeps you the foot on the gas pedal too, of being like, all right, so where was I 5 years ago? Oh, wow. I was actually like not that far from where I am today. Like, hey, I better actually like try harder. Like we need to get around some good people. So
it's the analogy of the rubber band. Like a rubber band's, normal, but as you stretch it, it never goes back. So like you have to, once you start to stretch a rubber band, the elasticity changes. It'll never go back to the way it was.
Yeah.
So like you got to get around people that stretches you. Yeah. And you can never, once you're stretched, you can't go back. Like you've seen too much.
Seen too much. Right.
Too much.
What were you gonna say?
Was that still the 20s topic?
Yeah,
20s?
we're still on the 20s topic.
So with networking, right? Jake and I like built up a pretty good network as everybody else has.
Yeah.
We literally go start a new company, web design company, and we pull 9.5K out of thin air through our network.
In a week.
Through our network. That's why a network is so important. Is just being able to create something and then go out and promote it to them.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody needs something.
Right.
It's just you just find clients earlier, and it's just a proven concept at that point.
I would say like looking at this group too, we all decided to get like lethal at something. We all decided to commit and become like really good at something. And I would say for a lot of us, it was probably sales for you in the beginning, which I still want to get to I want to tell this story quick. I want you to tell the story. Like for you, it was like e-com. This is what you eventually landed on. And then like for me, it was like creative video, marketing, you obviously marketing, sales, networking, and maybe other skills that I just don't know yet.
Mario Kart mostly.
Mario Kart is pretty good. Noted. Noted. But I want to go to that story really quick because I think that's such an awesome like example of like you decided to get really, really good at one thing, Mason, and then
the trading or the e-commerce?
Definitely the e-com story, like with your champagne guns.
Yeah. So I won't mention the company that I took the information from because I don't want them to come back at me at some point from this. But yeah, so I'm literally just scrolling through social media at this point because like that's how I found products is just Facebook and then type in free shipping and like a bunch of e-com products will pop up. There was a champagne gun that popped up and I was like, dang, COVID's happening right now. Nobody's going to like bars or clubs. Like everybody's either at a pool party or at their house with like just gathered and, you know, like just breaking all the rules just at their house practically.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, like this is a product is like grab somebody's attention and it's like an impulsive buy. They're either going to be like just thinking of cool things that they can do with it or whatever somebody would buy, right?
Yeah.
So I go and create this website, grab some content from this other website and just start running ads to their ad practically and just kind of stole their content essentially. And I did.
Let's be real, bro. Let's be real. They probably did it to like 50 other people.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so incestuous. Like it's
And I mean, it's like a cutthroat industry practically.
Yeah.
But like with e-commerce also is like something that I didn't know at the time. I thought, oh man, this product's gonna last a long time.
Yeah.
But it's only like 6 to 8 months max. Like if you can get a year out of a product, you have a product that's like truly a winning product that you can carry further and further into the, you know, next year and the following year after that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what parts you want me to tell, but
yeah, but like you just started this, you just decided to take action, decided to like put this product on your Amazon store and it just popped off.
Yeah, Shopify. Yep.
Yeah. And you like, and I think the kind of like lesson I'm trying to get at here for like people in their 20s is like, number one, like you guys have all said, take action quickly, but then like commit to something, commit to becoming like really, really good at something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's also going to get you recognized by other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like you talk about like doors opening up and opportunities. When someone's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they see somebody in their 20s that's just freaking like lasered in on their thing, that is really, really like exciting to like, you want to like get to know that person because you're like, you see a little bit of yourself in them, I feel like. And, you know, we're only in our 30s, but like, I'm sure there's people in their 50s being like, man, I used to have conversations at coffee shops with my buddies, like talking just about like stuff like this, right? Now we're doing it on a pod. So I love that. But like last thing on the 20s thing, since you are in your 20s. So what are you learning right now what has day trading taught you now that you are in your 20s and you're getting better at this every single day? What has that taught you now in your 20s?
Humbleness and patience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I mean, you can have a really good day and be humbled in the same hour. Like
same hour.
Humility is
I mean,
huge.
seriously, like you get really cocky and you just think like, oh, I made this trade. Like I can make every other trade. But all those other trades could go really bad for you. And you just blow an entire account like that.
Yep.
As far as the patience thing is like, just like you have to wait for your true setup. And a lot of times traders and just in general life, you get FOMO, the fear of missing out on things. And there's like it's just being just patient. Like there's nothing really to it. It's just have the patience and it'll come to you eventually. But those are the two main things that trading has taught me. And also just you can't trust everything that's on the internet. But there's a lot of fake YouTube, videos, and they say 87% win rate, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful of digging through stuff and finding the good and finding the bad, but also back testing stuff. So if there's a proof of concept in the back test, you can have a proof of concept going into the future.
It's good. Love it. Awesome. Other final thoughts on 20s?
I love what he said, but like it's so tough to stay patient when you grow up in a world where like every decision you make, you get like instant gratification for.
Yeah.
Like you got to understand that like what you're doing in your 20s isn't always going to show up on paper, but it's mentally changing you.
So good, dude.
And physically changing you. Like the things I know now are because I drove hundreds of thousands of miles and wrecked 4 cars and and I'm not saying wrecked 4 cars, but I figured out who I was while I was in my 20s. I figured out how hard I could push myself.
Yep.
Figured out how much information I could take in.
Yep.
I figured out how hard I could go until I literally flopped on the floor and passed out because I hadn't slept. But like, I'm not saying you have to do all that, but I figured out who I was through the process.
Right.
And I figured out a lot of the information I needed to know who I am today. And that's allowed me to do the things I do now. And I think it's so easy with the way we grow up. And like, I mean, video games now, you're on a video game and you die and you're going to shut the game off. Like it's over. Like there's no, instant. It's just, it's done. I failed, whatever.
Yeah, you can.
But
reset.
like, I think people don't understand that like everything you go through builds who you are later. And you just got to see it through, even if it doesn't work right away or the first month or the second month. I mean, most businesses don't turn a profit till year 2 or 3. Now, I think all of us in here are a testament that it doesn't have to take that long.
Yeah.
But you have to at least have the foresight to say, okay, it could take 2 years. Are you willing to see it out 2 years? Are you willing to give yourself an opportunity to learn enough to put in enough sweat equity, right? To try to figure out if you can make it work in 2 to 3 years. And then if it doesn't, like, are you cool with, rebounding to something different? Like you just got to understand from 20 to 30 years, so
Take
much
the risk.
time.
Take the risk, try different things.
100%.
If something's not working in 2 years, cut it and move on to the next thing.
Dude, it's interesting you say that. There's a book, you guys know who like Ryan Daniel Moran is? You guys ever heard of him before? He has like I think it's him. He has a book that talks about like going from 0 to 1 million in 12 months. And it's very interesting the way he like talks about give it a year. Like give it 1 full year of your effort. Because 6 months, like you're probably still like figuring it out. You honestly don't even know how to work yet, especially if it's your first business. Yeah. A lot of times you don't actually know how to work hard.
Right.
Right. And so
you have to learn how to work hard.
You have to learn how to work hard.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn like, oh, like this is what it feels like. This is what hard feels like. Right. And so like, if you are in your 20s and you do have a business and you've like flip-flopped between 6 different things, which mentally I'm sure I did a ton. I kind of had my main thing, but I like definitely got shiny object syndrome, which I'm sure none of you guys have ever had before, right? So like, but just saying like, I'm going to give this a full year of my effort, man, that is such a massively underrated skill that most 20-year-olds don't have.
100%.
So good too. Me and Jake talk about this all the time. Like your life can change in 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months is all it takes. You give me 6 months of
good,
your
man.
best from where you're at. If you put in 100-hour weeks, do everything you need to do, 6 months is all it takes to literally completely, is it 180, 360 degrees? 180, turn your life around?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And then confidence sells. If you're a 20-year-old person, whether or not you know your industry or you know what you're doing, if you're confident going into a sale, into a deal, confidence sells.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many deals I closed that I had no idea what I was talking about.
YouTube certified, baby.
Exactly. But if you're confident, people can feel the confidence.
Yeah.
They don't like arrogance.
Right.
But if you're confident, and the other thing is if you're just honest.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Been in business 6 months to a year. I've helped a lot of people. It'll be an honor to earn your business.
Right.
I look forward to getting this done for you.
Yeah.
Boom. There's simple things that you learn as you close sales on to gravitate to their business.
You say those like you like almost like you had to slow down and say it.
Right.
But what's funny about you is like I was in the car with you when you were closing a deal the other day. We were picking up our meat from the locker.
We sure do.
And like
carnivore diet.
you don't like that's not something that you had to practice and rehearse. That's literally just how you talk.
Yeah.
Like, and you guys have all been around and been up, hey, it'd be an honor to earn your business. And like, you mean it.
Right.
And I think that's another thing. So when you were talking about closing deals, when you feel like you're a little bit like the deep end of the pool, a little bit. I had a client ask me this the other day, young man who's running a video or, starting and scaling up a video business. And he was like, what do you do? How do you overcome imposter syndrome? And what do you do if you're about to take on a deal that's way bigger than you? And I was like, I asked him a couple of questions like, okay, cool. So are you committed to making sure that the client has the very best experience humanly possible? He's like, well, yeah, of course. I was like, okay, cool. And no matter what, even if the entire thing goes south, will you do everything you possibly can to make it right? He's like, yeah, like automatic, like absolutely 100%. Like, do you think that you can do this if you have like the research, the time and the team, like, and like the funds, that they pay you enough money to be able to effectively do the job? Like, do you feel like you're set up in a good way? He's like, yeah. So then you have everything that you need.
Amen.
Right.
Like
Amen.
this is a thing I learned also from Gary Vee. So when they were starting VaynerMedia, which I don't know if it was called that at the time, but when Vayner was first getting started, which is his advertising agency, they were in Buddy Media's conference room, I remember. And the Gillette was their first client. So they took on like their first client. They were managing like Gillette's Twitter or something. And I think they got paid like 84 grand to manage I think it was just their Twitter because social media was like brand new. This is like, I don't know when Twitter was. Twitter 2013.
I think so. That was the year I graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Came out.
It's so like, and people asked him like, how in the world, how did you take on a client like that? Like you're in your 30s and you're very, like one of your earliest clients, I don't know if it was very first, but earliest clients was Gillette. He's just like, I just take credit for my positive intention.
Right.
It's like, I just know that like, I'm going to do the very best I can. I'm going to take care of them. And like, I will make it right no matter what. And I take credit for that positive intention. And if you do that and then you match it with the confidence, like you're freaking unstoppable.
Exactly. And experience is the best teacher.
Yeah.
If you haven't done it, just go do it.
Yeah.
You might bump your head up against the wall, but you can always make it right.
Totally.
The intent
You can always make it
and
right.
the heart posture you have behind helping that person.
It's good. Awesome. You guys have any other closing thoughts before we wrap today?
I would say one more thing to add on top of Bryce's put your phone on low power mode. Turn off the notifications to social media. That helps so much.
Yep.
Just one ding can grab your attention from just something that's important.
100%.
Yeah.
I did that, and every phone that I bought brand new, automatically I'd turn off my notifications.
Yep.
It's the first thing I do. Only thing that I have is messages and calls.
Yep. Really good.
But yeah.
Dude, it's so true. And that's a word for 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like everybody, not just 20, if you're in your 20s, because like you have to think the social engineering and the development process to get you hooked back in. Like the amount of money that they pay these devs to like basically hook you back into the platform.
Right.
Every single thing down to the color of the icon on your phone is all thought out and is wired to get you to be hooked back in. And so like you just have to know that kind of going into it.
I would say this with that in my 20s, it was really easy to use your phone as a pacifier when you don't know what to say.
Yes.
It's
use
so,
it as a pacifier. That's good.
It's so easy to use your phone as a pacifier when you don't know what to say, but you totally give your brain you don't give your brain the opportunity to come up with the next topic. And you lose your ability to have good conversation because you'd rather go to your phone as a default mechanism than learn how to network and learn how to ask the right questions. And like, there are so many courses out there. There's the, somebody help me out here. There's like the 5 things you can ask somebody: faith, family, job. Like it's the 5 Fs.
Faith, family, finance, friends, fun, and future.
Yeah. There's always default questions. There's always default questions. There's always things, but like put your phone away and like experience the conversation with somebody and learn how to ask deep, meaningful questions and learn how to be genuine. And like your phone becomes a pacifier, and then it becomes more of an anchor than anything it could possibly do for you.
And what are you feeding your mind? You know?
Yeah.
What are we looking at? It's so easy with like the world we live in to get distracted, and there's things on there that we all know we shouldn't see or be looking at. It's very easy to get lost in the sauce, if you will.
Yeah.
And I had a thought off that and I just lost it.
Turning off like negative news also is another thing. Like literally stop watching the news.
Yeah.
If it's serious enough, if it's catastrophic enough, you will find out.
Not only that, but you can't do anything about it anyway.
About it. And like I heard somebody else say this the other day of like, we are not designed as humans to take in that much bad news and bad
100%.
information.
Right.
Yet we get it freaking funnel force fed into us every single second of every day. And there's people, bro. And this was wild to me. I worked with a guy, and in his office every single day he used his computer as a TV. Like his second monitor as a TV, and he would have CNN playing while he was working. All day. I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind?
Right.
And he was super angry, depressed, like paranoid. Weird. You don't say.
I had a lady the other day. I was giving her a bid for a move job.
Yeah.
And she asked if it was going to be affected by the tariffs. And I'm like, I have no idea what's happening in the world right now. I'm just giving you a moving quote. But like the fact that something that's happening thousands of miles away in different countries that aren't really affecting us like right now. And it's like, I'm just trying to move your stuff. Like it doesn't affect it doesn't affect it. It's not affecting the price at all. I have zero idea what's going on.
Did you tell her that?
No.
I'm just trying to move your stuff, lady. Like leave me alone.
I have zero idea what's happening.
Right. I'd love a chance to earn your business.
Yeah.
If it doesn't involve tariffs.
Yeah.
No, it's good. This is awesome. So as we were talking today, like we definitely like landed on the topic of like business 20, stuff, but like we have so much more we can go into. So I'm going to save it for future episodes because we're definitely doing this again. This is super fun.
Boys pod.
What's that?
The boys pod.
The boys pod. Yeah. And then it'll be the boys one. The boys are back. The boys are back again. But no, we'll keep doing this for sure. This is really good. So we always pray out these podcasts. And so what I want to do is just be like, I'll start with Bryce, and then we'll just like kind of like wrap this thing up in a prayer for like, and I think really just target it towards like younger folks too, because I think that's what we talked a lot about, and just people that are watching this, and I guess older too. But why don't you start and pray us out, and then like we'll just kind of go down the line, add our 2 cents, and you can end it.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
Go for it.
Sweet.
Dear Lord, I ask that you continue to light the path that you want us to walk. Show us the way that is best fitted for us with you, not just us. We are not on our own. I cannot do it by myself. I cannot do it without you. Light the path and show me which way to walk and which way to go, and guide me along the way.
Yeah, thank you, Lord, for these amazing men that you've placed in my life, and just the fact that we can have this conversation and just drop so much wisdom and knowledge on our listeners today. I just pray that this goes out. We send angels out to go find the right people, get this message in front of them on the algorithm. And if they're just watching a short of this, Lord, I just pray that that finds them, and that this is a seed planted that is going to radically change their lives when they see men, masculine men, pursuing their purpose, pursuing their calling, and living holy unto you, Lord, and wrapping this whole thing in prayer. I just pray that we're an example, and that you would just speak through us now and then in future episodes as well, Lord.
Lord, I thank you for this brotherhood that we have here on this podcast. I do not take it lightly, and I am just in full gratitude every single day of the brotherhood that we have. And I pray that whoever's ever watching this finds that same kind of brotherhood in their town, in their city, and that they go out and seek it if they don't have it, and that they pray for it. Because this is something that I prayed for, and I am just so gratuitous on having this brotherhood. It is so important to young men to have something like this. It helps them grow, and I've seen massive, massive growth. Even in the last 6 months with these guys, just being around them and growing together and seeking you, because that's what we're here for, is to grow, seek your spirit, and know you. And I just ask anyone watching this podcast just feels the Holy Spirit and knows you. And God, again, I'm just so thankful for this, and and just help them to find you, God.
God, I thank you for the men that are sitting to my right and left, Lord. I thank you for the trials and tribulations that you've given all of us, Lord, so you can use us as a tool to speak to anybody watching this right now, Lord. God, I just ask that you open their eyes and allow the people that need to, take that leap of faith, the vision that you put in their minds, and the decisions that you want them to make. Lord, I just hope that we were able to help them with that decision, God. And continue to watch out for us, Lord, and allow us to influence your people, God. We truly appreciate the opportunities you've given to us, and I'm truly grateful. And then, Lord, I just ask that you open people's eyes to go to a local church, Lord. That's where everything gets better. The people are good. They're there to help you out. The networks will open, Lord. Find a local church, and we just thank you.
Dear Lord, I thank you for gathering us all here today and getting this brotherhood started, and not just in a group chat to where we all wish that we could start something, but never take the leap of faith. I pray that whoever's watching this just finds the faith in you, and you guide them to the light and through this narrow road. Amen.
Awesome.
Amen.
Good job, boys. All right. For you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Kingdom Culture. Make sure that the best thing that you can do is definitely subscribe so you get notifications, turn the notification bell on and everything. But another thing that you can do is just share this with one friend. Whether it's you're sharing it with a friend who is, a female that wants to know that there's good single men still left in the world. Some of us single men still left in the world. And there's hope that because Megan talked about that a lot of just I want you guys to do this to show even, some of her clients, some of her friends would be like, hey, there are people like this out here. And so whether you're sending this to, a girlfriend, or you're showing it to a young man, or somebody that's older than us, send it to them. If you got somebody that right now as you sit, I'm sure there's somebody that's on your heart, and I would challenge you to just hit that share button, copy the link, shoot it over in a text message and say, hey, I want you to check this out. I think it's going to change your life. And that's the best thing that you could do to help us out. Just get this message out as we continue to grow the show and just tell more people. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.
Woke up today, smile on my face, may not go my way, still got my faith, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay, I'll be okay. Running our race, just that I pace.